Alright, we are into the Crs versus Good Game University. Immediately, we are seeing bans coming out. Looks like they're bugged again, only showing up for Good Game on the Good Game University side. With Rumble, Xin Zhao, Lulu taken out. Interesting choice to ban Lulu, as I think there are a lot better bans than Lulu is the best way I can put it. Xin Zhao a solid ban at this point in time, as he has the ability to just jump onto the back line and really mess up team fights. Rumble with his ultimate and ability to really deal with those 2v1 lanes is a great reason to ban him out. Looks like Elise banned out as well. Not wanting to see her split push and very strong lane dominance. Likely going to see someone like a Jarvan banned out. But I really couldn't tell you, as we aren't actually going to see the final two bans. It's just part of the buggy system, but oh well. That's kind of what happens. New patch, new bugs. Thresh likely to be banned out as well, as teams really just don't want to deal with him. He's really annoying to deal with, as he has the ability to turn fights around just like Blitzcrank, but offers a little bit more in the fact that he's a ranged champion and can poke. While Blitzcrank, it's hook or nothing. Thresh has that ability to poke a little bit, then back away. That's the one reason why I think he's going to likely see a lot of bans, and possibly even a nerf or two. I think we are actually into the pick section of things, as Crs will actually have first pick here. Crs likely going to be going with a support here or a top laner. Both of those would be the correct decisions, as best I can put it, and it will be a Taric, wanting that reliable stun, the extra armor against the heavy AD teams that are coming out, and the ultimate for an additional bit of offense, which is really what they just want and need in that Crs side of things. As most teams like to build tanking, when you can get a little bit of extra offense, you really take it. Leona would be a fairly solid semi-counter to Taric, as she has just a bit more CC, even though she is a little bit more all-inish than Taric. The extra CC is really invaluable, and her ability to initiate a team fight is absolutely amazing. Her lane presence is really strong, especially if you get her in a 2v1 lane. I expect Good Game University here to grab up the jungler, most likely, as there's a whole lot of junglers still left on the field. And they're actually going to go with Graves. I think that's a great combination. And definitely a really strong bottom lane or top lane should they want to do the lane swap, as I do believe they are on the right side of things. And Graves Leona is just a whole lot of burst damage, and you really have to kind of prepare for that on Crs. As I expect something like an Ezreal to be picked up, could be a Corki, and it will be a Twisted Fate and Jarvan picked up, as Jarvan will give them the ability to CC even more. He just has a whole lot of damage, and his ability to give his team additional armor on top of the armor already added on by Taric is really valuable. He also brings a bit of attack speed to the entire team, along with his very good tankiness. Twisted Fate, just a real pain in the rear to deal with, as he can move around the map and really snowball a lane to victory, as that's the entire reason you pick Twisted Fate, is to control the mid game and really just punish people for being out of position or overextending in any sort of way. Jayce and Zyra are picked up here. Jayce likely to be going top with Zyra in the mid lane. Jayce a great choice here, as he's very good against basically every single person that can go top, as his ranged ability in addition to his fairly high melee damage. And we are going to see a bit of a cancellation of the draft. Okay. But yeah, back to Jayce, as I think those picks will stand. Jayce just has the ability to poke people around and really goes well with the poke comp. He also is just really good at bullying people throughout the entire laning stage. Once he gets up to about 4 or 5, he really just has the ability to dominate the entire team and punish them for sitting around. As you can't really sit around, he'll hit you with that shock blast and just make you unable to fight. They also picked up Zyra, which gives them a lot more CC, and they are really stacking the CC up on the Good Game University side of things. With Zyra and Leona, that's a root, knock up, root again, stun, slow, and another stun. just on those two champions, and that's going to be a real pain in the rear to deal with. And that's really going to force them to be very decisive when they engage, because when they engage, they know they're going to have to deal with all that crowd control and all those problems, and it's really going to be a pain for Crs, as I don't think they're going to have a good opportunity to engage unless they can come from multiple angles. So they do have the ability to do so with Twisted Fate. They could easily pick up something like a Shed if he wasn't banned, though I can't actually see the bans at this point in time, and hopefully we'll get this restart going, as they could easily run a split push strategies. I don't think Nidalee was banned out either. They can run Nidalee up top, can go Twisted Fate Nidalee for some absolutely ridiculous amounts of poke, and with Taric and Jarvan on the back line, you can just sit around and not have to worry about anything. That's really just a great idea from Crs if they decide to go that path, but they just have a whole lot of options available to them. And yeah. Okay, back into the draft after we had a bit of a game crash, I think is the best word to put it. And it looks like bans are still bugged. I think we're going to go with same picks, but we shall see. Yeah, it looks like we're still bugged with only seeing champions banned on one side of things. And immediately, with the same picks as before, with like Taric, Twisted Fate, Jarvan for Crs, Good Game University with Graves, Leona, Jayce, and Zyra. Crs here with their final 2 picks need to pick up an AD carry. I expect it to be Ezreal, just because Ezreal has the ability to escape all that crowd control and really just be safe. And that's what they really need on Crs at this point, just to be safe. Miss Fortune would also be a very good choice, as she has the ability to just dodge it by running really quickly. And if the AD carry can stay safe for Crs, they'll be in really good shape, as they have a great lineup to deal with Good Game University so far. They have great initiation ability and a lot of CC that can stop the can really counter initiate on what Good Game wants to do with their massive CC coming out of Zyra and Leona. And it looks like we are going to see some interesting choices here by Crs. They're going to flip around champions. I expect it to be Twitch at this point, and it will be Twitch. They're going to use Twitch's invisibility as an escape, which is actually a really good option. If you get hit by Leona, you can pop your invisibility, and by the time she gets to you, you'll virtually be invisible. You won't have to deal with damage, as you won't be seen unless they do decide to drop Pink Ward. Though they're going to have to buy a lot of Pink Wards, as Akali's in the battlefield as well, likely to be going top against Jayce. A fairly even matchup, as neither team really gets an advantage out of that lane. Though Akali's a bit stronger than Jayce at 6, but Jayce is a little stronger than Akali beforehand. But as I said a moment ago, it's fairly even. It go either way based on jungle ganks. And Good Game University looking to gank a whole lot with Volibear, as that's basically the name of his game, is gank, 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 gank. As he can really snowball lanes. He has one of the best tools for just running down the map and dealing a whole lot of damage. And it will actually be Fizz. Real different choice. Was not expecting Fizz. And that really throws things in a loop, as I'm not sure what Good Game University is going to use. Likely a Jayce jungle, Fizz in the mid lane, Zyra top. I really don't know what Good Game University is going to be running. This is a very unorthodox pick. But they could run a Fizz jungle, which would actually work out fairly well. It gives him another layer of CC. He has the ability to cover a great distance. But I think Crs is just as confused as I am at this point. As whenever you see them, they're like, oh, they just kind of have that look of, okay, what's going on here? We're really not sure what it is. But it's definitely a very solid lineup from Crs. And it looks like it will be a Leona jungle is what it's looking like, but I really couldn't tell you at this point. They have basically thrown everyone off of that pick. And it really depends upon who Good Game University decides to bring in the jungle, which determines the lanes. And I think they could use basically anyone but Graves in the jungle, as Jayce is a fairly solid jungler, Fizz works in the jungle, Leona's a stupidly gank-heavy jungler, and Zyra can actually jungle decently well with her plants. But we shall see as soon as we enter the game, as I think that's really an interesting pick, and they're going to try and throw Crs off their game. Crs is probably the strongest team in North America at this point, and you really have to throw them a curveball if you want to catch them off guard and get an advantage before the game really starts. And it looks like we'll be a Leona jungle coming out of Good Game University. A very gank-heavy jungler. She doesn't have the ability to clear very quickly, but she makes up with that by ganking every opportunity she gets, which means we will have a Zyra support. Fizz in the mid lane with Jayce up top. And I definitely don't think Crs expected this when they were going through the draft. And that's why I believe Twisted Fate picked up Barrier instead of something like an Ignite, an Exhaust, or even just Teleport, which we do like to see, which we do see on NyJacky fairly often, as it allows him to move around the map even when his ultimate isn't up, and he just completely controls that mid game. Lane swaps likely coming from Crs this time, as we are going to see Jayce actually be up top, which is very different, as usually the red side's the one that switches with a lane swap. The question is, will Crs actually recognize this and want to throw out their 2v1 lane and go for the 2v2 lane? I think they do, and which is why they have Taric and Twitch up top, but I don't think it's going to matter, as they won't be seen. And it will be Akali versus Zyra and Graves, which is a real trouble for Akali, as she is not going to have a very good time. She can easily get rooted every time she wants to last hit, unless she's last hitting with her Q. And the second she gets hit with the roots, Graves is going to run in there, burst her to at least half health, and there's just not going to be any real hope for her to survive in that lane too long. Really good anticipation by Good Game University. If they indeed wanted to go 2v1 lanes, Twitch and Taric are going to get a good bit of farm up top, as we do see Fizz going to be in a lot of trouble if he wants to go top, as he's going to be at very low health. He has a lot of potions, and this is really interesting, with Fizz actually being top and Jayce mid lane, which is not something you'd expect. And I definitely think Fizz is in a lot of trouble, as I don't think he's going to be last hitting at all. Jayce would have been the much better decision to go top, as he at least has the ability to attack from ranged. And he can get away from Taric's stun by throwing out that acceleration gate, and get those few extra feet he needs to really survive the stun and not be hit with all the follow-up. Leona just clearing her jungle as normal at a very slow pace, like cripplingly slow. But they have kept Akali off of getting levels at this point, which is what Good Game University want. They really want to punish Akali, but Jarvan's going to come up top in the fairly standard level 2 to 3 gank. Knocked up, but Fizz will jump away. He does get hit with the red buff and the Jarvan, so Jarvan flashes forward to apply the red buff. Fizz will be forced to flash, as there is no pursuit. Good move there by Fizz, even though he did mess up his jump. Leona's going to have to go top, and we might actually see a duo lane top, as Fizz and Leona would work out fairly well together. As looks like we are going to see them just going for the tower push. Leona could easily go in there and start something, as she does not actually hit anyone with that Zenith Blade. She had an opportunity to. They were just standing around. But it looks like they want to go for the counter push. And this is a pretty big win for Good Game University, as they're getting a bit more farm around the map. Not significantly so, but a little bit here and there is all they're going to really need. And they're keeping Voyboy completely out of this game. Voyboy is not going to be doing anything anytime soon, as he does get rooted and takes a good bit more damage. Jayce is going to be perfectly fine against Twisted Fate in the mid lanes. They're basically going to trade farm. Looks like Jayce is going to be rotating down to place a ward. He might have rotated down to pick up Akali. This Akali's getting decent experience at least, but she's not getting any farm. And Akali really needs that 1 or 2 items, as Graves has gotten her basically out of potions at this point. She's just continually burning them. Jarvan coming up top to jump on a Fizz, but Fizz should be okay, but they will lose this tower. Looks like Crs winning out on the tower trades, as Akali is losing a little bit to Fizz, but they will get the first tower, and Akali has actually protected the bottom tower for now. Bought a lot of time for Leona to just not do anything in the jungle, though she has actually farmed better than Jarvan at this point, which is kind of surprising, as Jarvan is one of the better farmers in the jungle. Looks like Good Game University will be able to just pick up this tower with this minion wave, unless Akali wants to do something. But she's doing a lot of damage to Graves. Miss there with the Zyra roots, which means that we are going to see her jumping in onto Graves. She is exhausted, and Graves is not going to be able to pick up this tower. They just didn't burst down Akali enough, and Akali has survived, which is exactly what she needed. This tower won't go down anytime soon, as Jarvan's coming in the area, and 4 members of Crs as well, which means Crs is going to be up 1,000 gold at this point. Akali could easily go up against Fizz now, as Fizz has burned a lot of potions already. Same with Akali, and they're going to be virtually even in terms of CS by the time Akali actually gets up top. You see Twisted Fate going with that early Seeker's Arm Guard. And it looks like Crs wanted to go for Dragon, but with Leona in the area, they really didn't want to risk it, as she has the ability to apply a lot of CC and really just punish teams for being close to each other. Looks like Leona's going to come down bottom for a bit of a gank. She is still only level 4. She'd have to burn her flash to get the Zenith Blade off, as I don't foresee her actually being able to sneak into that lane at this point in time. Twitch and Taric will likely place the ward in that top brush, which is fairly standard, though Leona was not actually spotted there. She might have been, but it looked like from that view she was just out of range. The tower just blocking her off. Jayce has completed the tier. Likely going to be turning that into a Manamura later. As we continue to see this interesting game just keep going. I'm still getting a little bit of chuckles out of that as we do see Twisted Fate popping the ultimate, and he will be heading down bottom. Looks like they do want to pick up a kill on Zyra as there's a 4-man gank, and that is a dead Zyra. First blood picked up by Twitch. And that is just something Good Game University was not prepared for. They didn't have the ward where you really want it near Wraiths to spot Twisted Fate going down to throw out a gank. But that's exactly what Crs needs to do. They're up a tower, they're picked up first blood, every single lane's farming a little better than their counterparts, with the exception of jungle. But whoop-de-doo on jungle, as they're not going to get a whole lot of farm either way. Though I do kind of feel bad for solo queue, as we're going to see a bunch of jungle Leonas absolutely miserably fail up in the next coming few days, as people do like Leona as a champion. She just isn't the best at jungling. She's a real good support. Looks like we do have Fizz being forced out of lane yet again, as she just doesn't have the items to do anything. Akali a lot better with no items compared to Fizz, as Fizz really needs that sheen built up, as he just doesn't bring a whole lot of base damage. He brings a lot of maneuverability, but he really needs those items to get the damage up and going. Both bottom laners have finished off a Vampiric Scepter and the Doran's Blade, as we do see Taric going with the Philosopher's Stone, while Sightstone going to be soon up onto Zyra. Sheen soon to be built up onto Fizz. Twisted Fate with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Leona and Jarvan both going with that Maladrid's Razors. We do see Akali likely going for a Gunblade, while Jayce is picking up the Tear of the Goddess. Crs is up to a 2,000 gold lead at this point, on the back of a tower and one kill. It is about 8:40 into the game, and Twisted Fate will be picking up the blue buff. Jayce will have his blue buff soon enough, assuming Leona doesn't want it. Looks like Akali is going to be coming into the mid lane just to pick up a bit of extra experience, as that wave is really pushed far up top. And I don't think there's any way that she wants to go that deep into the enemy's territory just to pick up a bit of experience. Twisted Fate ultimate is up, and it looks like he's going to be heading down bottom, because I think Good Game University do recognize it, though Twisted Fate not in a real good position to actually teleport in, as we do see Good Game University very close to the tower. Twisted Fate looks to be running around and going to try a gank on the mid lane most likely, as we do see him ready to go. Leona does place a ward, but no, she does not actually place the ward. There was a pink there by Crs, but she does bait off the Twisted Fate, who is looking to go down bottom. Jarvan going to be coming down bottom as well, and we are going to see the first dragon of the game likely going to Crs, as they are just significantly stronger at this point in time. Nice ward placed there by Leona. But Crs will back away from dragon. They had an opportunity, they had numbers, as Fizz was nowhere near the fight. He doesn't have teleport, but they decided not to go for it. Fizz will just continue to push and pick up farm, as basically farm is evened out between the lanes, but it's just that tower and first blood that's been the real difference. Leona's actually doing a good job of keeping up in CS compared to Jarvan, as they are perfectly even at this point in time. Twisted Fate at about 75, as we do see Twitch leading the way with 86. Jayce and Graves are right behind them at the low 80s. Looks like Leona's going to try for a gank. She is level 6 now. She does throw the ultimate out, but it is not enough, as Twisted Fate does burn the flash, but a whole lot of damage going to Twisted Fate, as the Leona passive plus Shock Blast take him down 40% of his health, and he's going to have to burn all his potions to get back. Another Shock Blast comes through, taking out another 20% of his health. And that Twisted Fate's not going to be able to gank for a little bit, which is exactly what you want to do if you're Jayce. You just make sure that if he ganks, he's going to be ganking at half health, and it's not going to be alive very long in the gank, as you really can't stop Twisted Fate from ganking, just due to it's virtually impossible to do so. You just always want him at that half health range, so he never ganks with a full health bar. And the gank can honestly be easily turned around. Twisted Fate going to be coming down bottom for a gank, as he has just healed up. Leona is in the bushes. I don't think she was spotted out, but she's falling fairly far behind in terms of experience. She's just level 6 now. Well, everyone else is at least level 7. With the exception of Zyra, but Zyra is the support, and you really... Looks like Twisted Fate has popped his ultimate just to come to the mid lane. Kind of a waste, if you ask me, as he did pop the ultimate, saw Leona in the bottom lane, and said, no, not a good fight, and just decided to back up. Leona did not have her ultimate up for that. Looks like Graves is slightly out-leveling Twitch at this point in time, but Twitch does have that first blood kill on him, which is 400 gold, and he has the additional gold from the tower. Looks like Graves is going to look to push this bottom lane down. Zyra and Graves doing a good job of just continuing pushing this lane and taking a little bit of an advantage on Twitch. Twitch has picked up that BF sword, going for an Affinity Edge, as we do see Jayce likely going for that Bloodthirster. Lichbane soon to be picked up by Fizz, as you see the Hextech Revolver picked up by Akali. Both teams really doing a good job of just stabilizing after Crs did an excellent job in the early game. They just haven't been able to find the pickoffs as of late, as they've done a real good job of keeping Twisted Fate just not in fighting shape. He's either low on mana or low on health, and I'm not sure this Twisted Fate build is such a good one, as they really just doesn't have the presence he needs in these mid-game fights. He's gone for a early Zhonya's Hourglass, as he has now just picked up a needlessly large rod. And I think something like a Sheen early would have been good, or just a little bit more early game power other than rushing the Seeker's Arm Guard, as you don't get a whole lot of anything from it other than protection from Jayce, which wasn't doing a whole lot of damage to you anyways. He's more looking to just cast spells continuously and farm up that Tear of the Goddess and play for late game, as that looks to be what Good Game University is going for, even though it's going to be fairly hard, as Twitch scales incredibly well. Same thing with Jarvan and Akali. But just based on their item choice, they're looking to go for late game. Locklear on Solari soon going to be up on Leona. Leona waiting down here to gank again. Don't think she was spotted out, though Fizz was. And Fizz will return to the mid lane. Likely going to buy room for Leona to actually get a gank off. She's not been very effective this game. She's done a decent job, but her team's just not been able to capitalize on anything. Leona just waiting here. Come on, Leona. You can throw that ultimate out. Looks like she does. Land the Zenith Blade on Taric. Gets the stun. Rooted up, and that will be a dead Taric. Picking up a very needed kill for Good Game University on Graves. Twitch has popped the ultimate, and this will likely be this bottom tower going down. Nothing Twitch can do here. And the towers will be evened up. Gold is still about 1,000 gold in favor of Crs, just due to the fact the waves are fairly pushing in their favor, and looks like Good Game University will be going for Dragon at this point in time. Fizz not in the area, so they have to do it quick, as Crs will have their full 5-man squad here in no time. They don't have a ward on it for Good Game University. Crs does have the pink there, as you see the Shock Blast from Jayce come in. Nice use of the Graves. Smoke Blast just keeps Jarvan out of the way, and Leona will smite it away. Twisted Fate does come in, but immediately runs away, as he tried to get in deep. Twitch throwing out a good bit of poison, and yet another wasted Twisted Fate ultimate. He's only been able to pick up that first blood with it, and while that's useful, you really need to be getting more out of your Twisted Fate pick. He has now picked up his Zhonya's Hourglass, and looks like we are going to see a push coming here from Crs, as we see 3 members of their team right in the mid lane. Fizz the only one there for Good Game, though they will have Leona there fairly soon. He does dodge a few abilities with that pull, and we are going to see him being able to actually hold this lane fairly well. And so far it's been a very even game. Goal difference is less than 500 at this point, which is virtually nothing. And Good Game University is in a pretty good spot. They've really hampered Akali in the early game, so she's not going to be as strong as she could be. She's down a bit in farm compared to everyone else. The Twitch is the only one that's farming incredibly well, as he's sitting at about 140 farm, right up there with Graves and Jayce. Jarvan coming down bottom, but he is not able to get a gank off. Leona in the mid lane, looking to apply a little bit of pressure to Twisted Fate, but no such luck, as Twisted Fate immediately just ran away. And Leona's done a pretty decent job so far of jungling. She hasn't farmed incredibly well. She's losing it in farm and levels to Jarvan, but she's had some pretty good ganks. She's really applied a good bit of pressure on the map. She just has tried too hard for ganks, in my opinion. If she would have gone for 1 or 2 less ganks and instead farmed a little bit more, she would have been in much better shape. But still, she's doing pretty well as a kind of unorthodox pick. Looks like we are going to see Jarvan just continuing to set in this bottom lane. I think Good Game University know he's there. They throw the plant and immediately spot him out. And he will back away. He probably could have stayed or rotated around to the top bush, as both of them are pink warded. But no such luck. Twist of Fate coming down bottom. He will pop his ultimate and see Fizz down bottom. Don't think they want to go into that, as he just teleports right back to mid lane. And yet another Twist of Fate ultimate with no effect, as this Twist of Fate pick has just really not gotten anything done. It's been decent, as it spotted out a lot of bad moves, but it hasn't gotten that good gank off that you really expect from Twisted Fate. Looks like Fizz is coming in, but immediately flash and invisibility by Twitch means he'll be safe. And for a Fizz gank, that's not bad, especially considering your other lanes are being farmed out by Leona and Jayce. Jayce very high in farm, right below the AD carries, and he's going to be a real menace in this late game, as he's going to have that mana mirror up fairly soon. He has a brutalizer and likely going to have the Bloodthirster up very soon. Deathcap soon to be up onto Fizz, as he has all the components of it now. Infinity Edge finished up onto Twitch, as we do see the Zeal and Bloodthirster picked up by Graves. Both supports going with the Philosopher's Stone and Sight Stone, in addition to boots and a bunch of pink wards. Twist of Fate with the Zhonya's Hourglass, likely to work his way into a Deathcap at this point. Jarvan with the Wriggle's Lantern and working his way into a Lockleon Solari. Leona with boots and mobility and working her way to the Lockleon Solari, in addition to that Maladrid Blood Razor. And Akali going for the Gunblade. She has all the components of it, just needing that combined cost. And she's going to be a real terror when she picks that up, but she'll just do a lot of damage and be able to sustain herself in fights. Good Game University looking to pick a little bit of a fight here as they poke Twist of Fate down to about half health. Pink wards being exchanged down bottom as Graves managed to just pick up the ward. Taric likely going to be going in, placing a pink ward in that bottom brush in just a moment, trying to clear it out and make way for a Jarvan gank down bottom. Neither of these junglers have been able to get that many good ganks off, and it really shows, as they're both fairly under-leveled. Leona exceptionally so, as she's only level 9. Looks like we do see a ward placed down bottom as we see a big gank coming down here. Leona ultimate does fly as Twitch does pop his invisibility. Fish does fly, but it does miss. Twist of Fate popping his ultimate up. And it looks like they won't be getting anyone from that gank, as we do see Jayce in a lot of trouble. Jarvan ultimate does fly as the rest of Crs comes up here, and Crs will be able to pick up a kill onto this Jayce. The rest of their team running alongside him, but they're just too much disengaged there by Crs. Great play there by Twisted Fate, using his ultimate to get onto Jayce while the rest of the team was down bottom. They're buying a lot of room for this Akali to farm, and Good Game University just really needs to get these ganks off. They don't have the pink wards for Twitch like they need, and they just haven't been able to get on him. He's been perfect with his cleansing and flashing this game, just surviving those Leona ultimates. And without those Leona ultimates, Jesus has been very weak. They've had the opportunities, but the second they land, he's cleansed and stealthed. And once he's stealthed, it's really hard to catch him, as he does get movement speed while stealthed. Fizz has also not been able to roam around the map, which is something you really want from your Fizz, as that's really one of the reasons you pick him, is to be able to move around the map, apply a lot of pressure, and get 1 or 2 kills to kind of snowball the lane. He does it good if he picks up farm, but it's really pick up that sheen, pick up a little bit more ability power, then start roaming around. And while he's tried, Crs has just done an excellent job of not getting ganked and playing it very safe. Looks like we are going to have Dragon spawning up right about now, as Leona will start it off. Graves in tow, Twist of Fate throwing out the cards, but not hitting anyone with them, which means that there is definitely someone there on Dragon, and Good Game University will be able to take this Dragon down without a fight. Leona coming up there, but Fizz ultimate misses. Leona ultimate will land, and they will be able to take down Twist of Fate fairly quickly, but Zhonya's Hourglass is there. As you see a beautiful ultimate by Jarvan, hit 3, but he's knocked out by Jayce. We do see a flash over the wall by Leona, but Akali looking to snowball, and this is definitely Crs' fight. Everyone from Crs getting low, but they will be able to take down even more. And it's likely going to be 3 for that dragon, possibly even 4 as Akali does get another proc of her ultimate off. Graves does start the smoke screen. Will Akali dive for it? Looks like she will, but Graves will be able to take her down. Though Jarvan does jump in here and finishes off Graves, making that a full ace for Crs for just 1 and dragon. Take that any day of the week. And that all came down to that beautiful Jarvan ultimate and the Zhonya's Hourglass by Twisted Fate. I didn't think it would work out too well, as it just doesn't give you that mid-game presence. It saved him from getting caught out. The Fizz ultimate really just whiffed in that fight as well. But that was a really beautiful Jarvan ultimate, keeping 3 people out of the fight and unable to get onto Twitch. Twitch just blew everyone apart with his Infinity Edge. And that's how you win a fight if you're Crs. I don't think Good Game University can team fight anymore, unless they get a pick off beforehand. Lich Bane has now been completed by Fizz, as we do see Graves working towards that. It's a Phantom Dancer. Looks like Leona has picked up the Lock of the Iron Solari. Jayce is about to finish off his Bloodthirster, as we do see Zyra going for likely the Cerullea's Reverie, in addition to that Ruby Sightstone. Taric picked up Boots of Mobility, going into likely the Cerullea's Reverie. Twitch picking up the Zeal after the Infinity Edge, going for the Phantom Dancer. Twisted Fate picking up the Zeal into Lich Bane. And Jarvan going for likely a Trinity Force, could go for a Frozen Mallet as well. With Akali picking up the Haunting Guys into the Audrey's Torment. Looks like both teams are going to have 5 people up top near the red buff. Looks like Leona's going to try and go for it, but it will be taken by Jarvan. As you see a Shock Blast come out, as we are going to see a fight here. Twisted Fate ultimate pop as he does jump right into the middle of things, but he actually cancels his ultimate, not able to enter the fight. Leona ultimate missed. Big ultimate by Zyra, but another big ultimate by Jarvan, keeping everyone in there. Double kill by Twitch. Twitch is just going to clean up. Same thing with Akali. And this is Crs' team fight ability really showing. With a double kill by Twitch and Akali, there's not a whole lot. And it looks like Twitch will pick up another kill in the back end, sneaking around to pick up Graves. And an ace by Crs. And this is one of the reasons why Crs is the strongest team in North America at the moment, is their team fighting is just a level up of everyone else. And their coordination as a team. Twisted Fate actually canceling his teleport to not be basically gibbed and bait out ultimates by Good Game University is an absolutely brilliant move. It's interesting how you actually cancel it, as you can pop your Zhonya's Hourglass and not actually teleport, which is basically saved his own life, as that Leona ultimate was perfectly ready to take him out. And that is just them being a step ahead of everyone else. Nothing more than that. Crs doing an absolutely wonderful job. And if Good Game University wants to come back in this, they really just need to find a few pick-offs with Leona ultimates. She's not been able to get a good ultimate off all game long. It was a good pick. It's worked out fairly well, but they just haven't been able to connect. They've just dropped too many of the ultimates and not picked up anything for them, especially Fizz ultimates and Leona ultimates. Interesting. It's an interesting team comp from Good Game University with the Leona jungle and the Fizz running top, but this have not capitalized. And I'm not sure they're going to be able to at this point, as they're just a little too far down. They're down about 8,000 gold at this point. And Akali has gotten big. Same thing with Twitch. He's finished all his Phantom Dancer. Not sure what he's going to build next. But I don't think it matters, as his damage is through the roof at this point. Looks like we are going to see the Crs team just group up here near red buff. There is a ward there, but there is a Taric Oracles, which means that that ward is not long for the world. Looks like we are going to see Crs looking to fight for Baron at this point, as they're likely going to try and bait something out. I think Good Game University know where they are. And I think they're going to recognize it. Yeah, they're going to walk right into a ward. Crs is going to be able to take it out. They could even rush the mid lane and engage, but they get hit with a Shock Blast and back up. Looks like they are just going to wait here for the next engagement, as Good Game is going to have to contest this Baron. I don't see them being able to stand up to a siege should it actually come to that. Looks like they are going to run out right behind him. They are spotted out by a ward, which means that they are going to have the opportunity to escape. And nothing happening. A lot of just roaming around. Both teams have done an excellent job all game of just kind of avoiding ganks. But it's basically been Crs with a really good team fights that has been the difference in this. They've taken down a few more towers, but all of those were off really amazing team fights. And I think this is an opportunity to be a learning experience for Good Game University just on how to coordinate. As if they were a split second faster on several abilities, they would have picked up kills and been in a much better spot. They're not behind far, even though the gold lead says so. They've been one or two mistakes here and there from really taking this game in their own hands, but they just not had the ability to do so. As we do see Twitch and the rest of Crs grouping up for Baron, and they will be able to take down Baron without much of a fight. Twisted Fate going to be looking to zone out Fizz here as he does pop the ultimate, just making sure where everyone is, but no real attempt to do anything as Twisted Fate goes up and uses his ultimate to farm yet again. He's used that ultimate to farm most of the game. He's used it for the vision more than he's actually used it to teleport around the map in any meaningful way, which has saved Crs from a few bad team fights or pickoffs, as he spotted off Fizz down bottom a few times, Leona down bottom, in a really compromising position. And it's been very effective, even though he has not actually gotten kills off it, as the rest of his team has won these team fights. Looks like we are going to have Graves jumping into Akali as Akali tries to solo Dragon. Not sure that's what Graves wants to do, as he does throw his ultimate across, but Akali will be perfectly fine. Jarvan in the area to smite it if he needs to, but they will just pick it up. And it looks like we are going to have Crs likely going for the bottom lane. Graves going to be caught out here pretty hard, though he does run away just in time using that bush. Jarvan will not be able to check it in time. He had the ability to throw his flag in there and dash across, might have caught Graves out, but he decided not to, just play it safe. Smart move here, just giving up these outer towers. They can't really defend them. They can defend the inner towers, as you can land beautiful ultimates from Zyra across them and really get a lot of CC in this small chokehold. The question is, will they be able to actually land it? As if they can get a CC combo across, Good Game University can take a fight. I'm just not sure their ability to get a good CC combo across the entire Crs team. But we'll see here, as they do just continue to weather the siege. They've done a good job of not taking too much damage. Fizz ultimate lands on a Jarvan, but no follow-up, as it will be healed up immediately by Taric. Taric about to complete his Aegis of the Legion, as they continue to push up. Leona ultimate does fly, but doesn't hit anyone, and that's kind of in the story of the game. Fizz and Leona ultimates have just not been on point, and they've not been able to be followed up with, which means Crs is going to take this tower free of charge, and they're going to likely take the inhibitor as well, as Good Game does not want to actually contest. They're going to wait, contest somewhere else. It's probably a smart move, as Crs could have ended the game right then and there. And they're likely going to have to defend at this tower. They're waiting for the ultimates to come back up, but they're not going to be up in time, as it looks like we are going to have another fight. But the tower's going to be down, and there's not going to be any help. Voyboy jumping in here on Akali, and Akali not going to be able to do anything as the Zyra ultimate does land. But she does get fairly low. Leona gets stunned out and taken out before throwing a bit of CC. Another beautiful Jarvan ultimate hits 2 and forces several flashes, and likely the death of Fizz, and that should be Good Game in favor of Crs, as they are just really dominating in this late game portion, and their team fight's just better. Good Game missed their ultimates in several occasions and didn't back up once they did. They got baited into several fairly poor fights, and Crs just really dominated them in those team fights. And that's something you really can't allow to have happen and win a game. You have to go even or be slightly better in team fights if you want to win, especially if you're not ahead in the laning phase and don't have a team built to win the laning phase. You have a team that was built to basically survive the laning phase, then find pickoffs before and snowball them into big team fights. But Good Game University just never got the opportunity to do so. And Crs, with some excellent plays, has just dominated those fights. Looks like we are going to have Jarvan picking up the Black Cleavers. You have Twisted Fate picking up Riley's Crystal Scepter. Frozen Mallet up onto Twitch, as that seems to be the AD carry item of choice after picking up your 2 big damage items. Outside of Last Whisper, if they're stacking armor, but I don't think anyone in Good Game University is getting enough armor to really be a threat. Akali about to finish off her Death Cat. There's DDC Agents of the Legion on Taric. Crs rotating up top to go for the last inhibitor. As you see Zyra finishing off the Cerelia's Reverie. Last Whisper finished up on Graves. Fizz with the Zhonya's Hourglass and Lichbane. Locking the Iron Solari boots some mobility up on Leona, soon to be an Agent of the Legion. As you see Jayce with the Bloodthirster, Brutalizer going for Last Whisper and the Tear of the Goddess. Big lead here by Crs. They're going to just slow push this last tower. There's not a whole lot the Good Game can do at this point, outside of just landing their ultimates perfectly, hitting 5 people in every single one of them. But I just don't see the opportunity to do so. And Akali's not even going to be in the fight. Akali's going to split push, which is exactly what Voyboy loves doing. He's going to force people out of the fight, let his team just continue to wither him down, and then jump in as soon as everyone gets low. That's just the type of champions that he likes to play. And that's exactly the champion Akali is. Good stun there by Taric, applies a lot of pressure to this Graves. And that will be the inhibitor turret going down, the inhibitor soon to follow. And I don't even see Good Game actually trying to defend it. They're going to defend at their Nexus, but I'm not sure it's going to be okay, considering one Nexus turret already down. And soon to see more, as they're just getting really stomped here. Nice stun there by Taric. And there will be the Nexus going down as we see a Jarvan ultimate hitting 2, Leona ultimate, and a beautiful combo, but not enough, as they just not have enough damage on Good Game's side. And that will be the GG's in favor of Crs. Beautiful plays throughout the entire game by them, as their ability to just win those team fights and not get yanked was absolutely phenomenal. And that really snowballed them into a very good position overall, and the game win. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.